defense attorney. Use common sense. What is up, space pirates? This is your admiral, the obviously awesome Dr. Disaster. And as a Schadenfreude enthusiast, it warms my heart to say that Nintendo seems to be squirming right now in their lawsuit against Palworld.
You shut up! I'm so scared right now, you shut up!
Of course, part of the reason I'm so salty with Nintendo these days is the fact that the Switch 2 seems less like a next-generation console and more like a front for a blatant cash grab, with their decision to raise the prices of their games to the point that they're charging $80 for some of them. They've gotten embroiled in culture war shit as well. For example, this crap here where they changed the Mii characters that have existed since 2006 so that they are no longer gendered. Now, instead of girl or boy, you simply select a style. And it's obvious who they're pandering to with that crap.
Oh, hello. That dude looks like a lady.
But one of the worst transgressions from this company has been their ceaseless pursuit of Palworld, because this is a game that dared to not only exist, but it also dared to be wildly successful without Nintendo's permission, and this is the sort of thing that really pisses them off.
Ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless.
Well, now news is coming in that makes Nintendo look uncertain that their lawsuit is actually going to work against Palworld. You may remember that they recently filed a patent for flying mounts that players ride on in their game, and then they used that patent to sue Palworld. Well, now it looks like Nintendo, while in the middle of patent infringement litigation, is attempting to alter this patent, which experts are saying makes them look desperate as hell. It would seem that a splash of reality is getting thrown in Nintendo's faces, and they are making the only move that could feasibly help them out.
I'm on my knees in a $900 suit!
I like you begging. Do it again.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and also, don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference. One more thing, I started uploading some content onto Rumble too, so make sure that you follow Dr. Disaster on that platform also. But let's look into this Nintendo and Palworld scenario. I have been saying for a while that this particular lawsuit against Palworld is flimsy as hell. Loads of games use flying mounts. For example, I remember using flying mounts in World of Warcraft over a decade and a half ago, and yet Nintendo isn't attempting to sue them. This selective outrage from Nintendo really weakens their case, and it's even worse when you consider that they are now attempting to change their patent in order to serve their needs from a legal perspective. This article from Game Rant tells us all about it. It says here, Nintendo's patent lawsuit against Palworld has taken an unexpected turn, with the Japanese gaming giant modifying one of the patents central to the case mid-suit. The move raises questions about the viability of Nintendo's legal strategy against Palworld and is particularly unusual due to the language used in the new patent. The ongoing legal drama started in September of last year when the Pokemon Company and Nintendo alleged Pocketpair's Palworld infringed on several of their jointly held patents as part part of a lawsuit filed in Tokyo. Pocketpair subsequently presented a dual defense strategy. It argued that the patents at the center of the case are invalid, while also claiming Palworld isn't infringing on them to begin with. And I personally would agree with both points. It's hard to see Pokemon's patents as valid, considering that they're talking about game mechanics that a lot of games are taking advantage of, but they aren't suing the makers of those games. And besides that, the characters and gameplay in Palworld are, in my view, legally distinct enough that Nintendo does not have a leg to stand on. But, reading on, in a new development, Nintendo recently requested an amendment of one of its patents in suit from the Japan Patent Office. The patent in question describes a system for seamlessly switching between rideable objects or mounts. While the request was granted, an examiner deemed that the revised version of the anti-Palworld patent did not introduce any new technical matter. What it did introduce was a reworked claim worded as a large sequence of run-on sentences numbering 260 words. This claim, which describes conditions for triggering the ride switching implementation, includes a provision that it works in the air even when a non-flying mount is selected. Games phrase patent analyst Florian Mueller describes this phrase as highly unusual. I've been following patent litigation for 15 years, for the better part of that period, as a consultant, and have seen many claims that were amended, but I've never seen even when or even if in a patent claim, he explains. The amendment itself may have been prompted by Pocketpair previously arguing Palworld never implemented the mount switching system described in Nintendo's patent. In that context, this expanded claim appears less clear. So, I would argue that the language even if and even when does make the whole patent very nebulous, and it seems like Nintendo is scrambling to try to gain any footing in their lawsuit. As the article says next, amending a patent in suit mid-case is an uncommon move, potentially indicating that Nintendo feared its intellectual property could be invalidated based on how the proceedings were unfolding. And that brings a measure of warmth to my black heart, because I cannot stand how lawsuit-happy Nintendo has become. I understand wanting to protect your IP, but this ain't it. And, as the article says then, this turn of events also suggests that Nintendo still lacks a solid basis to bring a lawsuit in the US. Not only has Pocketpair recently removed the allegedly infringing features from Palworld, but it's also simultaneously argued that those elements were never infringing to begin with, on top of claiming the patents themselves are invalid. As a result, Palworld has become what Mueller calls a moving target for infringement, one that Nintendo and the Pokemon Company's attorneys are finding difficult to hit. And I personally am very glad to hear that Palworld has found a strategy that helps them dodge this crap. But maybe the best strategy was to do nothing, because Nintendo bringing this lawsuit in the first place was asinine, and that really is the best defense. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your contempt for Nintendo's litigious nonsense into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.